we have how you can tell it's been a weird morning. How we doing, everybody? Time to kill Telegram, kill Gog. That's a funny phrase. Let's see here. Is there anything else I need to do before the friggin' heckin' thing goes? I wasn't gonna stream today, but I need the distraction. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, we're gonna be playing Darktide, because I'm addicted to this game already, and it's not even fully released yet. Cadia stands with me. So I think that the amount of, like, decals and ragdolls was really affecting my performance. We'll see, though. Also, yeah, I think I was, like, level either 5 or 8 when I ended the stream last time, and I'm, well, oh, no! Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, heck. Oh, God. Oh, heck. Nope.
It is the 41st millennium.
It's the 41st millennium! And I'm unprepared.
10,000 years, the Imperium has dominated the galaxy. There is only war. Every human soul, from the most highborn lord to the most basic servitor, is dedicated to the service of the God Emperor of mankind. The Imperium's battle fleets and armies, from the conscripted soldiers of the Astra Militarum to the elite space marines of the Adeptus Astartes, keep humanity safe from alien threats and cosmic horrors beyond imagining.
Enter the warp!
But there is another war. It is the one in which I serve.
We've seen this. This game is good. It crashes a lot, but they've straight up said, we're not happy with how much it crashes right now. Yeah, I was busy last night. I was busy last night. I got to the point where I'm kind of pretty sure I know which weapons I prefer. Blessed be thy aim. And I don't even need to put music on, because the music in this game is like, I'm gonna buy the OST levels of good. Did I tweet it out? I didn't tweet it out, but I also don't care. Alright, what you got for me? It's running on a bit worse than it usually does, but that's fine. Got anything for me? Okay, I don't like that one. Actually, no. So, I'm probably never gonna change my first curio, because what it does... That's a bit loud. What it does is let me have one grenade every 60 seconds. So that's something I don't have to ping, or get pinged for. Let's see, let's just hop right in. Ready up. Yeah, last night I had like a super long string of helping level 1s and 2s learn the game. It was neat.
Food, ammo, water. Tertium's okay on the first two, but the heretics are making the third scarce. We've identified the storage silo that's at the heart of the contagion. That's where you start. Get down there and deal with the demon by any means necessary. You know how this works.
Is. Also, the chat bot should work, or the TTS bot should work.
Testing the GRE3MLO. Wildes Kohl ist Kronkli.
Oh no.
Yeah, BeagleBot's back. Oh shit. Game, please tap back in. Game, please tap back in.
The statistics on this place's contribution to atomic and water supplies are fascinating.
1 second.
Really?
This is as close to pass as the torrent
Oh
gets.
shit.
Everyone else goes
1 second, everybody.
Kevin Backen ist extra.
Make for the Ragged King's court.
I might have to.
The streets from there.
It's quiet. It always is until the killing begins.
Damn it. Game. There we go. Okay, we're good. But I'm stuck pogging. I feel bad. Settings. Expression settings. Damn it. Okay, yeah. I'm not performing well. They're gonna leave me, which is fine.
Kill the hound!
Gotta leave the mission. That was bad. That was bad. That was very bad. And now we wait 20,000 years. There we go, okay. Right back to the mission thing. Let's warm up with a 1-star. Well, 1 difficulty tier. Let's see. Are there any right now? And use the crown. I haven't done this one yet. Alright, so now we're not going to tab out. Alright. Ooh, they got a bulwark shield. That's nice. Ooh,
The traitors have been crawling all over Metal Fab 36, and now we know why. They've disabled the power matrix's cooling system. Losing that facility's tank production might cost us this war, so you're going to get the coolant back online. Head for the control room, unlock the cryonic rods, and flush the system. And do it fast.
Okay. Bot.
Even when the cooling system's working, Metal Fab 36 is one big oven.
Large factory. Much work for idle hands.
You're not here to mingle. Keep moving. Keep moving. You need a way out of the ventilation tunnel.
Tanks. Proper rotten machines there.
Cryonic rods. Cryonic rods. Checking! Control chamber! Get to the control chamber!
Fight with zeal! Die in glory!
Dude, this dude just isn't gonna wait, is he? Thanks, friendo.
Pilgrim, pilgrims!
So I hate the sword. It's fast, but it doesn't kill him in one hit, which I prefer.
You've reached basement. There's still plenty of ground to cover. Grenade! There for the taking! Under fire! Reloading!
This is my preferred weapon, just this version of lasgun.
The Emperor will grant us victory! Ammo!
Really? There we go. No, not the puppy. Where's the puppy? Puppies are bad news. They always go for me. What did I say?
Stop, no more hound! We need Omicron vortex intercession!
Shotgun! Fire!
My hand!
Ho ho! What cover?
I mean, tail grab is just as good, depending. I'm not gonna finish that sentence.
The beneficent Emperor will not find us lacking!
Never has, never will. Grenade throw!
Sorry I've got in your way, son.
You don't often see the conveyor out of you. Stick with it until you hit the Overseer's office.
Really? Oh, toss, toss, toss. There, I finished the thought.
Get back! Exploding barrel!
I don't do smooth. I only do soft and fluffy.
It's gone. It's true, yes? They say you hear us all the time. Do you hear us now?
Stairs!
I prefer the E tool. Really? Not another puppy. Oh.
Look out! Exploding barrel! Manifestation!
Incoming! Aim and fire! Pilgrim, the barrel! Throwing grenade!
Medicaid station!
I'm present.
Very sleepy.
Hope you all know where you're
I'm
going.
great.
Why so angry? Because it's Warhammer.
quiet. Big attacks coming soon.
I'm ready to bash.
My
boss.
character is also from Cadia, so
Ammo. Every bullet a prayer of vengeance.
they're from Cadia.
Got a clogging switch here.
They don't have a planet anymore.
We're eliminated.
No, no Pox Bomber. The guard fought longer than the planet. Yes. I mean, my character's still alive, so yes, Cadia stands with me. Where are we even fucking going? I've never done this one before. Yeah, we're coming, friendo. Thank you for hopping. That actually helps a lot. Imagine having a home. Oh.
Go there.
Thank you.
Schreckhaus
I
ist
have
warm.
ammo. Zap.
Oh, that's right. The names in this... My favorite one I've seen from one of the big boys so far has been Ansem Airy.
Ammo crates. What does switch do?
What that switch do?
Keep it at a distance.
Don't worry about the technicalities. Your data interrogators know what needs to be done.
Where the fuck is that Pox Bomber?
Let's station. Heal up. Buster dead.
Add-on here. Pay attention. Data interrogation rate. Accept.
If you want to hop in with me, yeah, sure. The music in this is so good. Oh, I'm angry. I'm angry.
The data interrogator requires your.
Oh yeah, it's just like matches. Strike mission. Oh.
I love blowing them up.
Our first task is complete.
You all Russians for that.
You are hard to miss.
Yeah, strike missions is actually a very good way that they describe these, because that's what they are. You get in, you get out, you do your thing. Have a present.
Time to throwing. Interrogator working.
Somebody hack it, come on.
Throwing grenade.
You will have to do the tutorial first, or like the intro mission, so I would go ahead and take care of that if you haven't already.
We have the
Yes, Shrek. I'm playing alongside Shrek. Yes, the character from Undertale.
Manual override required.
You know what?
Just keep fighting. Let's go.
Data interrogation imminent.
I'm doing pretty okay. Oh, right. Thank you for marking that, team. It suddenly got very quiet, and I do not like that.
Stay in formation. Fancy a bet on who kills the most?
Mind your step, pilgrims! To stumble here is to fall! Move out!
Yeah, they're Ogren. Well, they're abhumans. I'm gonna have to switch back from a sword. I do not like the sword. I do not like the sword. For this game right now, yes, you will regret that. I'm playing on medium settings with a 3060. I haven't unlocked those yet. I don't have a chainsword yet. I want one. We got some real gamers here, right?
Less ammunition! Quickly! Medicare station! Ammo, the soldier's true friend. He provides the means of death unto his servant! Grenade!
Here, Shouty. Ammo.
So Tay, are you gonna play Psyker or Zealot?
Throwing grenade! Heretics! Be judged!
Where do you want this?
Hurry! Get that one loaded!
I swear, puppy. Woo! Where the fuck is the fucking sniper? you stop?
Gonna boss me down for that. You all!
A grenade! A gift from the beneficent emperor himself!
Stay with it.
Take the sword.
Reloading! Follow me, Gonzo!
You performed well. Extraction
Out of rotting ammo!
We're done! Time to go!
not too deadly.
Thank you, Masozi.
Out everywhere!
Kill shots ready!
I fell from the back of you all! Deserves double ration! Yeah!
GG, don't tempt the crash gods. Yeah, that's a thing in the beta right now. It crashes a good bit. Uh-oh. Alright. Tay, let me know when you're done with the tutorial stuff. And the basic training, whatever. And I shall send ye an invite. You're still making a character? Alright. Did you go Psyker or Zealot? I should check my...
You stand so close.
Yes. I mean, they're the more, like, cool class. Mine's just pew pew, and the other one is smack things.
Unit operational.
Let's see. What do you got for me? Nothing I can buy. I don't like this one. Yeah, we're buying that and switching. I do not care. That's a downgrade, but I don't care. Actually... Wow, it's not even a green. Okay, It's a higher score. Yeah, we'll use this one. Should I go for another one, Tay? Or do you think you'll... Nope. And a crash. Do another? Okay. Yeah, or crash. It says a lot that the team that made this game are straight up like, we're not happy with how much it crashes at all. They're frustrated by it. Why did CVS give me a direct ping? Thank you for the hydrate! I need to change that to affogato because I'm not Terry on stream anymore.
It is the 41st
It
millennium.
is the 41st millennium.
For 10,000 years, the Imperium has...
Like, my assets are slowly becoming kind of cohesive. My my emotes match. Bah. Alright, let's try that again.
War's waiting for you.
Yeah, I'm on my way.
Lasozi, kindly remind the deck crews that possession of Atoman contraband is punished.
Do we do a tier 2? Yeah, this one. I've done this one before. I've done this one many times because they don't have a ton of missions right now.
Ready.
Wars are won and lost on supplies, and we're dangerously low of the more unusual sorts of
I don't
ammunition.
know what cliffhanger is, but I assume it's one of the special things you get special currency for special guns.
The Taran regiment behind you. We're gonna nick theirs. Once you're inside, I'll send a Valkyrie to carry anything worth stealing. Should be simple enough.
Big boy. Look at me with my chess piece that only 0.1% of players have at the moment.
Dark indeed. Well, at least the gloom matches my mood.
Oddly, Lasozi didn't fancy flying into the Rocket Strata sky by the fences.
The fight for Tertium will be decided right here.
You'll be going in the back way, so make your way to the maintenance tunnels.
Time to go to work.
Good kill! Now do it again! Gunnar, take them out!
That's more like it, baby.
Bankers needed. Well, root them out of cover.
Grenade thrown! Don't fear the truth!
Barrel's gonna move. If it's rolling, it's rolling. Medicare station.
Drag shot, Gunnar!
All of it.
Oh no, oh no, oh no.
Chopper there. Look out! Big mutie.
Do we save them or?
You're passing through the Reflector's quarter. It's not far to the station. This is empty. Beauty! Could use some nosh.
Hello, Violet. Welcome on in.
Fucking grenade!
Oh.
Make your way through the rubble and find a way down to maintenance.
I'm doing okay. As good as one can do right now.
Next time we engage, try to fight like soldiers. Ammo! Ambush! Grenade out!
I might have to turn the game down a little bit. I have a dime. There we go.
This way! Keep it moving! You're heading down, but the elevator's bust. You'll figure something out.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Reloading! Bragging colts! I'll never understand them. Beat him to a pulp. Don't go for it.
They fight for their freedom. We can understand that, even though I must kill them for it. Okay, you're in the maintenance access. Your data interrogator could spring that door.
Data inbound. Continue. Defend.
I'll have to change my expressions at some point. If they randomly change, that's because I set them to my number keys for testing and then forgot.
Process failure. Reapply.
Oh, someone has it. Okay.
Pay more attention. The Omnissiah favors us. Resume uphill.
Death?
Ah, Psycho does good work. Occasionally.
Ooh, my toughness is down. Shit.
Heal retry. Resume.
Yeah, I've been staying hydrated. I've been making sure of it. Also been making sure to take my meds. Hey, am I gonna get mad, or am I gonna think it's the best thing ever? The puppy's gonna be the death of me.
My world. Now you do the same to me.
Roughneck needs help.
The data interrogator requires your attention.
Oh my god.
All systems green. Uplink restored.
God! Woo!
Security bypass in place. Pressure
Nice.
accessible.
I suppose that headshot had some.
I just take him at the same time. Or else I'll forget.
That thing with the tentacles. Oh, should I not have eaten?
Sometimes, Boot, I wonder if you aren't your own worst enemy.
Be killing witch!
You should take notes, Roughneck.
Oh god, is a slug gonna spawn? I hope a slug doesn't spawn. I hate the slugs.
I wish our pilot would fly smoother. So I have a delicate control.
Back on it!
I forgot to check the man's
Give me a second! I'm murdering! How do I do this special thing? I gotta remember.
Lightning surprise coming in!
Where's the fucking puppy? No, a slug! I hate these things. And a puppy. I'm dead. Yes, very oh no. These things are annoying as hell.
Focus fire! Aye!
They always bore me. It's always me. They always bore me. Yes, literally. And not the fun kind either. I mean, good, it's dead.
Medicaid station! Do me a favor. Keep your heads in the next firefight. Sir. Yes, sir.
Medicaid station.
Oh, throne! That's the big beauty killed!
Oh, I think I know what cliffhanger is.
Halfway through. Cross over to repair bay and keep following the subrails.
Good drive! Reloading!
Bastion 220 combat stance!
This way!
So all round.
Ammo! I hear a hound!
I'm not a dog person, game.
Outbite that hound.
Not far now. Reach the supply track and follow it to the Logistrata.
Hello, Gray. You're the good guy, though.
Rangers are gunning. So noisy now.
That is a health poppy.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, you're like... You're a half a wolf. You're not half one of these. Oh no. Friggin' there's a flamer here.
No more chocolate. Feel strong. Ready for a fight.
Another dog. Filth is very good. Filth is a treasure.
Cover, pick your shots.
Every kill a prayer for the dead!
I'm also kidding. I love puppies. I'm the person that will see the biggest, meanest dog and still go, oh, it's a
Question a
baby.
requisition of this special issue ammo?
It's not for you. Rannick has other teams in the field doing
I just don't like those.
Understood, Control. Here to shoot and die. Think we scared them off?
It's the baby. I'm present. Who's with those, Vince? I haven't seen those before.
First up, get those Skyfire defenses disabled. We don't want our Valkyries getting shot down.
Oh, that's Caro. That's Caro. Right. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Good. Good. Successful tab.
We should avail ourselves of that med station.
Eyes on grenade.
Thank you, Twitch, for not moving my chat. There we go.
Follow me.
Yeah, I know.
Stand your ground.
Throwing grenade!
Where the fuck is the sniper? Snipers are actually scary in this game. I see you, motherfucker.
Sever the head, the body dies.
Sniper's dead.
Taking serious damage. I'm down!
Can't keep you down, can they, soldier?
Under fire! Reloading!
Got one.
Postmaster's vaporized!
Wow, the push is a literal push. It's a tactical high five. What's up, Bralmos doing? Damn it!
Get me up now!
If they let me die, that I'd understand.
Just scratches. Lots of scratches. Red chocolate.
If they let me die, I understand.
Loyalty and honor. You have none.
Sir, can I help you up, sir?
Can always rely on you.
Let's go!
Accidental skill, witch!
There's little my incomparable mind cannot achieve.
Come on, Abramos, let's go.
Engaging precision fire!
Focus fire! Aye!
Let me in! What the fuck?
Bomber, get to cover!
He got the bomber!
All right, Day, you ready? Basic train? Okay, I could just wait then. Nice. I'm not the biggest Monster Hunter fan. I tried to get into it and it's just, it doesn't interest me. I tried though. I did another penance? Ooh. That's useful. No. Yeah. Very true.
I exist to serve.
Recon lasgun. I want to try one of those next. Nice.
Concluded. by.
I'm actually gonna go on a quick BRB. So I will see y'all in a second. I'll leave you with the ambience of Warhammer 40k. I'll be right back. Especially this ambience, it's very. Hello?
Hello, suddenly very loud.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, an advert popped up on the stream. It's like, there is now loud noises.
Go back there. Bip.
Just right team.
Yeah, I think I sent you an invite.
Yeah, I can't join it.
Give me. I just had to log back in. Interesting.
Oh.
Yes.
What if you maybe if you join mine because I'm a lower level?
Yeah.
There you go.
There
That's
we
a silly
go.
thought.
There we
I'm
go.
making stuff up.
And now we wait for 10 eternities because this game takes forever to load at the moment.
It's been a bit hit and miss for me.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. And we might be instanced. Yeah, we're instanced. Oh, I'm watching someone move without a walking animation. Oh, you're still in the prologue, it looks like. So, I think you have to do the advanced training.
I'll advance your training.
Oh, okay. I'm already level 15, though.
I did the basic training. It's now telling me to go visit the Sanctum Dictatus.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You gotta do that first.
No, I'm sorry, let me be more dramatic. The Sanctum Dictatus.
Prove me
The Sanctum of Dictators.
I mean, yeah. Warhammer 40k is basically if the Victorian era British Empire colonized the galaxy.
You know what 40k really needs, though?
What?
Oh, it's on a 2-minute cooldown. Hang on. Ask me again in 2 minutes.
Okay. Someone's name is Crime Hilda.
Go ahead. Hi, Grendel.
Meeting all the people that are gonna verbally abuse you for a long
Yeah.
time. I mean, it says a lot that the levels of this game are called trust levels.
Oh my god, they ran people over on their train.
Oh, the intro cutscene is actually pretty damn good for this game.
It's very cinematic.
Yes.
I am Teanos.
I am a warrior. I'm a warrior.
Who am I? I'm still Teanos.
You're not a complete disgrace, more or less.
I'm pretty sure I'm still Teanos.
Let me guess, you chose Zealot.
Can't hear anything over the game. It's really, really loud. Is it weird that the cutscenes run at a worse performance than the game?
I have the opposite. Like, they have straight up said, we're kind of frustrated because games are running vastly differently on...
I can't hear you over a load of butch men screaming, I am a warrior.
Oh.
It's really loud.
Sergeant Major,
Hate when that happens.
operatives' reports lack sufficient data. I must know everything that occurs.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I might be able to turn it down.
Okay.
What were you saying about they've said something?
They said they're kind of frustrated because, like, people will get vastly different performance on basically the same hardware, and they're like, what is going on?
Yeah. I bet a lot of it is, like, what background process is, you know what I mean.
Yes. I mean, they have until, like, the 30th.
Yeah. I've got I know it's your stream, so I'm going to ask. I've got a friend who also wanted to play this with me. They probably won't join Discord, but if you want a third, I've got a third.
Okay, sure. Strike teams with people you know are always better.
Yeah. I can see if they want in on the call or not, but okay. Probably do now.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can figure out how to do this. Old man mode activate.
I can't wait, because now that you said that, there is an achievement in this game called Well Met Whippersnapper.
If you must, I suppose.
There's a noise in the background that's just like a whoop, whoop, whoop. I keep thinking it's the dog sleeping somewhere behind me and just doing a sleepy yap.
What I asked is, let me guess, you chose Zealot.
Psyker.
Ah, okay, you're a head popper. Got it.
I like popping heads. Darling, 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 darling. I also made my character as short as possible. As I'm that kind of person.
Someone named their character Prejudicia.
Oh no.
Yeah. I mean, the names I've seen in this have mostly been silly, especially the big boys.
Like Crane Durr.
I mean, I saw one that was named Ansamari.
Oh.
Yes.
He's very handsome.
Yes, Gray. It is mind-blowing. Should I go ahead and start a mission thingy, or wait a bit?
One mo.
Okay.
I think they're booting game now.
Okay.
They're booting game now.
Okay.
It's laws. Oh, am I gonna have to suddenly worry about those in-game comms that are automatically on?
Yes. It is under audio. and then it's all the way at the bottom.
Microphone setting muted. Okay, it's default muted. Nice. See, this is what games should do.
Yeah.
Have voice comms. Yeah, that's great. Default it to muted.
Yeah. I would recommend turning the volume on it all the way down, though. Just in case. Yeah. The voice chat volume.
Yeah. Audio. Voice chat volume. I'll put it down to 7.
Okay.
10. Just because I like round numbers. You know what goes really well with Warhammer 40k? And the Grimdark Distant Future?
I forgot to chat the man's polka!
Oh, that's right! Oh no, Vince asked for that ages ago. I gotta reopen Pretzel and everything.
Oh no. What have I done?
Hey Vince, if you're a mod, refund yourself those points.
Jolene, 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 Jolene. It's a Zen. Green dog.
Hello? Are they in the call?
Let me double check your permission just to see if I can let them in.
Okay.
That's a yes, I'm guessing. I need to send you a friend request. Ew.
There we go.
Thin. Oh god, I forgot that Mashu changed his name to Zashu. It was the whole thing. Don't ask about it. It was a thing.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, I'll pour the game down to 50% master volume. Let's bring it down further.
Yeah, I had it on 28 yesterday. I brought it up a bit more just because I like the music.
I don't mind keeping up about 30. Just bring sound effects down a smudge. There we go. I like it.
Would help if I turn off my headset.
Yeah, microphones are handy.
Hello. Welcome. Shall I start the strike mission?
Sure.
Yeah, go on.
I know what that means.
Get ready to murder. That's
Do things. Shoot the lasers.
We'll do my favorite.
Just the faces, or
do not pet the doggos.
Oh.
I mean, the doggos don't give you a choice as to whether you give them pets or not. They kind of just happen.
But what if I pet the doggo?
Pet the doggos.
Violently.
With an axe.
Make its brain explode.
Hello, der Tianos _ how are you?
Vince says, hello, how are you? Do you like my Grimlow?
Yes. I got off work today, so I am... Yes.
That's... yeah.
Zen knows my state when it comes to my job.
I mean, like everyone else, just hate it.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I really am the Warhammer mama right now.
Our place is dedicated to water purification.
Follow me.
This is the nice part of the torrent, if you can believe it.
I've lost everyone. I got distracted.
Where have you gone?
Tay, come on.
I'm distracted.
I mean, you're already failing at step 1. Go in the right direction.
So step 1 was stick together.
Yeah.
or is that like an advanced maneuver?
In Warhammer,
I mean,
everything is an advanced maneuver.
Throwing grenade!
So I have a curio that I get a new grenade every 60 seconds. So feel free to take the grenade.
Cheating.
Yes.
I mean, the Ogren's grenade is just a box he throws at people.
Yes, it is, and I love it.
I love that.
Die for my family!
Yeah.
I wasn't meant to press that, but it helped.
How did I know you were gonna choose that voice, Tay?
Oh, I thought it was Loki. I'm not gonna lie.
Have you gone the full crazy psycho guy?
No.
As if there's a sane psycho.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed. This chest is empty. I was promised shinies.
They do that. It's horde time, baby. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm just getting started.
Dog banders.
So,
hug you.
I don't want to hug.
Save the bird.
The dog. That's a conversation.
I crashed. Survive. I'll be back in a second.
Ah, yes, the classic Darktide move.
I'm genuinely surprised I've not had a crash yet.
I mean, at least it's at least it lets you auto-connect to the session if it's still live.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Usually.
Usually, yeah. Hello? Hello? We'd like to guide my friends through not dying, please.
Where's the fun?
I vaguely know what I'm doing.
I've been playing too much Deep Rock Galactic. I'm keep trying to throw flares.
Oh, Pox Bomb, dude. Where is he? There he is. Oh, there's two of them.
Reconnect. I'm on my way. Me with my frickin' skull jaw tattoo.
The heretics have decided the best way to win is to disrupt tertiary
Best way to win?
They're pumping filth into the silos, and we know where it's going down.
I'm so lonely.
Drive them out, get the fresh
No
water
way!
flowing again.
I'm actually en route. So, the chest piece I have right now, I got by accident, because I threw a grenade really far and completed a challenge for it, apparently.
Yeah, you gotta kind of make it explode in midair. I've tried doing it, but my guy keeps just throwing it like a million miles. Like, throws the grenade into fucking orbit. It's like, okay, see you later.
Yeah.
No enemies up there.
Congratulations, Tay. You popped someone's head.
I've done that. I've done that.
Slipping away.
I'm officially a head popper.
Babby's first cranial detonation.
I want a shotgun.
You can't pick up weapons.
I hate this game.
Holy terror, the center of all.
Yeah, it would be nice if you could pick up guns. Everyone else is much better than mine.
You just gotta play it way too much, just like me. Ooh, there's the power cell.
But the med center we don't really need. But
yeah, I'm gonna do the thing anyway, out of habit.
Let's just tell yourself it's for XP.
Also, just so you know, grenades don't cause friendly fire damage. So,
I am well aware.
That's totally not one of my favorite tactics, is to just yeet the grenade
I mean,
into
when
the...
they're surrounding the Ogre, it's the best time for it. Horde coming in behind us. This is a very big one.
This is going in.
Barrel.
Oh, big fella. I need to stop trying to throw flares.
Just assign it to like a useful button.
But what if it comes in handy sometimes when I just randomly push stuff?
More like that and we might win this war.
Oh god, I heard the frickin' flamer the flamer click. Where are they? There they are!
Oh, there he is.
Would another one take his place?
Sorry.
That was an all. Got him. Yeah, most of the specials tend to die fairly quick in this difficulty.
Yeah.
Usually.
Last night, it was frickin' spamming specials at me.
Grenades?
A medicognizant once told me I was delusional. Can you believe that? So I made him go away.
That is the most Teanos thing I've heard from a character in a video game.
You know what? I hate how accurate that is.
Stupid doctors, thinking they know better.
Who smacked me in the back? Don't mind me, just war criming it up.
War crimes are the best crimes.
Popping some heads.
Popping up the cold one with the boys. Oh god. So, yeah, this is basically the only ranged weapon I've liked so far, is this version of the las gun.
I had quite a rapid fire one earlier I liked.
Yeah, the only ones I've had right now are like the deathcore one, and this one. That's it.
Right, get across the bridge.
Also, if you're not playing with the las gun as a guardsman, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You can turn the flashlight on and off for double the power.
What?
Yeah, there's a flashlight on the las gun.
Oh, okay.
Protect the bird.
Yes, protect me. I am important.
They can't pop heads if they're distracted.
Oh, there's a trapper behind us.
Oh, give me a second.
I remember what I replanned my ping button to.
Is ping? I was just wondering about that.
I think it's middle mouse by default.
Yeah, I had to.
That's why I'm upset.
Yeah, I had to change it. Mine is now like the side button on my mouse.
My middle mouse is now dodge because that's why I had it in Vermintide.
Mine is the special thing with the axe, but it doesn't work, so I'm probably gonna change it. Oh, I hear a puppy! Okay, where's that sniper? Where is that sniper?
Way across over there.
They need to die. They do tons of damage. Also, yeah, watch the sides. They tend to flank on this after a bit.
Catch this, heretic!
Where's that sniper?
Other side of the bridge. He's after me.
Yeah.
Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Can you actually cook the grenades?
I haven't tried. Oh, okay. There's multiple snipers, it looks like. Come on.
Keep the pressure. Keep the where it hurts.
Oh, Tox Bomber. Yeah, I'd shift back. Oh, there you are.
Engaging focus fire. Good right. Reloading.
Good to left.
Time to move. Head down to the bazaar.
There's ammo there that I pinged if anybody needs it.
I'm gonna steal it even if I don't.
Share the ammo.
I saw it first!
Theodos!
I'm coming.
Illy baby
Yeah, it's another elevator.
Just cooling my brain down.
Seems we do better to take back the turret.
Let us know where they are. At least that's Rannick's theory.
Copy that.
My, the purse is certainly bold with her prizes, isn't she?
It is what it is. Someone's always profiting
Hey.
off the likes of us.
I can't pop Zin's head.
That's it, you'll be happy.
You chose the correct voice for your character. I'm upset by it.
What do you mean? I'm innocent.
They say.
I'm not surprised he went Psycho.
Same. I was predicting either sell it or Psyker.
I mean, that's an excessive amount of grenades. Or is it?
I get one every 60 seconds. I should use them. The Emperor deigns that I use it.
Did he tell you with his text-to-speech?
Not.
Hey. Oh, he's so friendly.
Oh, they're behind us.
Not my time. Not yet.
I learned how to do sword or something. I can't remember how to do it.
How to do what?
I learned how to charge at my sword. I can't remember how.
Hold down the attack button.
Not that charge. Like charge it with lightning.
Oh, I can't help you there. I'm just a guardsman.
I agree.
I'm just committing vile acts of violence right now.
Well, if it's not a war crime, is it really worth doing?
There's a bed station with one charge back here.
I should probably use it, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
Ow, I was stood on the bridge just popping heads. How am I not the most dead?
Because they're,
Oh, I really don't like this.
Irrelevant.
You're in the right place.
Just the voice lines are too perfect.
Hollow statue. Selective.
Spotted. Ammo.
That was unnecessary.
How you on ammo, Tay?
He's a psycho. He
Yeah,
doesn't use ammo.
I could do with some, I think.
We'll find some for you.
He melts brains. Don't need bullets to melt brains.
I mean, that's a version of the thing.
Brain bullet.
I mean, you're already doing better than some of my friends who play this, because they're usually exploding their own brains every 30 seconds.
If I actually play games, I'm a professional.
You hear that? You heard it here, people. Tay just called themselves a pro gamer moment.
Yeah, I'm a whole moment.
At least one.
Tayana's pro tips.
Shoot forward. Bullets go in the enemy.
Point gun in right direction.
Aim away from
the
face.
right, not left.
Aim away for face. Oh, it's a horde. Have a present.
Ah, they're coming from the front now.
I'll be back in a second. Yes, Steam, I'm aware. Oh my god.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
I can tell it's going well
Yes.
because there's no screaming.
Saved your life.
In space, no one can hear you scream.
That's a different franchise.
GW have only ripped them off a little bit.
Oh, hi, SkyJ! I haven't been looking at chat. Hello, SkyJ. Welcome on in.
I can't believe you've done this.
I
Pro
feel-
streamer right here.
But you mentioned you were streamers.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm too lazy.
I got.
Yeah.
Do I need to watch my language?
No.
You just need to not be racist for once.
Oh, god damn it! It's my favorite pastime.
Wow.
Oh,
I mean, we
yeah.
are Space Marines. I think we're allowed. Just occasionally scream, "Assassinos!"
Yeah,
I mean-
it's like fake. Well, it's yeah.
I must admit, it's one of the funny things I've seen about like the wider fan base, like coming into this game, being like, the Imperium don't really seem like the good guys I thought they were. Like, you're gonna have to
You
learn a
thought
lot.
they
very
were
quickly.
good guys?
It's like you're gonna have to learn a lot about the Imperium very quickly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Violet. I'm actually kind of lucky. I'm not super interested in Pokemon. I've also heard that. I've heard unconfirmed reports that Nintendo may be offering refunds for the digital version.
I've always had a thing. I don't think it's very rare that I'll buy like big major games the day of release because of exactly this.
Yeah. Also, this is the second Pokemon game they've made this year. It's not even one a year anymore.
I think it's because they called Arceus. It's like one of their little spin-offs they do.
Yeah.
Here's the med station.
Arceus was also very much a trial period for this one, and I appreciate that they did try and
use the med station.
No, I'm too
med station.
pro. Where is it?
It's back here. I don't know what my ping button is. I've changed my key bindings. It's fine. You don't need to ping things in a game like this, right?
Do not struggle. I'm struggling.
Oh no! This is the first time I've had 2 crashes in one match. Ooh, we get to kill the stink now.
Little stinky.
Ah, the hentai level.
One of them, yeah, but like, yeah.
Wait, one of.
Oh yeah, there's several different genres of That could not have been phrased worse.
Questionable concept.
How comfy are you with Nurgle?
Depends on the day.
Wow, they spam flamers in this area this time.
Ow.
So, see these things right here? You gotta
right now.
Yeah, that's the Tide experience.
They need to finally make a Warhammer game where they're not cowards enough to do slam air.
I mean, I think that's more like FCC regulations. Protect the Psyker!
Protect me, I'm important.
Everything hurts.
Protect me, I'm a heretic.
I can drop down a med.
Did you just say the H word?
Next objective.
Did you just?
Heresy, what?
What?
I said I put down a healing station, that's why I said I don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely what we're on about, yeah.
So...
A dirty healing word. Oh, there's another heal station there. Well, I'll drop this one by the thing.
When all this is over, group up by this chain link fence. It's the extraction point.
Yeah, that'll be where the last one appears anyway. Oh, being dogged.
Oh.
Crazy. There is healing by the current objective. You come over to where we are.
Oh, I hear a Tox Bomber.
You can go hug him.
Oh!
I mean, I didn't mean it literally.
I got bounced from him to the thing and back.
Oh! I think they might need a bit of healing. And a bit of
I'm fine.
I'm being slammed into the ground.
I'm too hard.
Stand in the green. The healthy looking green, not the...
You're helping me.
Green.
Oh. Babe.
Ugly goodness.
Oh.
Good old Papa Nurgle.
This way.
Nurgle loves you.
That sounds fun.
Tox Bomber, where are they? Behind us!
Oh, he's hugging us and doing way too much damage.
Take them back!
I'm trying.
I mean, the Ogren's
Oh, that's you. Oh, that's you. Cadia stands with me. Oh, right, grenades. Ooh, I am almost out of ammo.
Don't need ammo. You just grenade that one person.
Ammo's for people who can't pop rings.
There's another bomber somewhere.
I think it's on the other side of the wall.
Yep, shot him.
Oh, hi!
Oh, shot many people.
Go, 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 go! Take. Take. Yeah!
Come on, Mr. Ogren. You're having too much fun murdering dudes.
I mean, that's fair. We just gotta kill them.
I mean, there's more of them.
Oh, we gotta go! Okay, yeah, we should go. There's another puppy.
Oh boy!
Can we bring him with us?
No, I don't think the Imperium would take too kindly to that.
Come on, get him in the dropship.
I'm sure it'll be fun.
I got bacon.
Oh, explode the doggy's brain.
Oh, I didn't know I could. I'll be honest.
Chilling in the back.
Good to know that if the ogre is in front, in a hallway, the ogre is the only thing doing damage because it takes up the whole hallway.
Yeah, they're kind of the crowd control class. They're tanky. Don't axe your friends. It's not that kind of game. What is that kind of game?
I want to know now.
Yeah, same. GTA, maybe? COD? COD. It's Call of Duty.
I don't know. I'm trying to come up with a I genuinely don't know any lumberjack games.
I mean, there is a lumberjack moment in Red Dead, I'm pretty sure. You go and build a house. It's a whole segment with music and songs, and everyone loves it.
Oh, it's you.
Is it some weird country western that's all about I'm a builder love cabin in the woods?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much is exactly that.
I have to check what weapons and curios I can have. Because apparently they're Catholic. Your defense, like your special little thingies are curios.
Good news. I'm playing this game for 10 minutes. My space heater is now on. I can actively see on my graphics card getting warm.
Nice.
Are you showing off having heating and everything?
It's the most expensive heating.
Did we get instanced again? Another?
I was in a cutscene.
Oh.
I just need to change something. What was it? One of my buttons.
I need to talk to someone, apparently. I've unlocked guns.
Ah, guns. Who needs those?
I found you.
You're right. I don't need guns. I need more axes and swords.
I mean, I'm definitely buying the first plasma gun I come across. And if it doesn't instantly kill me, I'm going to be disappointed.
Its first shot is to explode.
I'm just looming over you right now.
Oh, how ominous.
Yeah, you should look at my face and think about that statement.
So ominous.
Just a large woman with a skull tattoo on her face.
That's excessive.
I mean, this may be the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, but there is a barbers.
Well, even the future has fashion.
I got pauldrons. I'm cool.
Options. Key bindings?
Okay, something's hitching hardcore. Interesting. So you want to do a tier 5?
Yeah.
Alright, I've done crazy things. It'll go horribly.
Yeah, it
will. The middle
will.
is not working. Okay.
Um.
Do I need to do training to, like, advanced training to unlock advanced tactics? Like, look, there's a thing.
I mean, I
You
just did
shouldn't
it by
have to.
default. Yeah, I just do it by default because it prompts you. There's the ammo one again. There's the cryonic pod one. Rod.
Why don't we just quick play and YOLO it?
Okay.
Oh, I don't think this game gives bonuses for quick playing anymore.
No.
No, Vermintide did.
It's just fun to drop directly into the chaos. So quick play?
Sure.
I mean, I'm fine with whatever.
Okay, I'll choose another tier 1. We'll get.
You trying to go easy on me?
I mean, okay. Oh, I was about to press F10 and take you to a tier 4.
I'm not that much. I'm not that ready. But I've played me some Rocky Stone. It's the same thing, right?
I mean,
just the bugs are more people shaped.
The bugs are people.
No, they're people shaped. Then it's not a crime if I kill them.
They inhabit the people.
Yes.
Good luck.
Oh, it was literal start. Okay.
Heat's going to make things heavy going.
Toasty.
Should be a level playing field.
Main functions looks like weapons manufacture.
You're not here to mingle. Keep moving.
Why are you shooting the garrison?
Because he looked suspicious.
I mean, that's just existing in 40k.
Not a bad start. Clear the ventilation tunnels as soon as you can.
There is much to be admired in these manufactoria. All work towards a common goal.
You need the cryonic rods that you'll find in the control chamber.
Oh, this is the cryonic rod one. Hello!
Don't think I've actually played this one yet.
I just played it for the first time today. It's pretty neat. Oh, this person's a speedrunner, it looks like.
And then he'll die a speedrunner.
Unless they're like, I've noticed like if they're one of they are always the lady that has the Scottish accent. They always run ahead and they never get killed.
I'll take my chances on the front lines.
Oh.
How you doing, Tay?
I fell. I mean,
Well, I don't even know where we're gonna be going.
I'm speedrunning.
You're just doing inputs. Okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
Goes down. Let's move.
I think we're where we need to go next.
Yeah. Considering my character was like, yeah, this is right.
Yeah.
Follow the murder.
Save your life.
Boogie! Where is he? There he is. Where'd he go?
Just fell over.
Boogie.
They went to the range or whatever parents tell their kids.
Farm?
You mean lies?
Yes. Like the jolly man in red.
I heard he's not even happy.
I mean, if
Show me that ugly grin.
have a present. It's gonna be a bad time if I ever switch this curio.
I mean, free grenades always sounds like a blast.
I'm legit never gonna switch this one. It's legitimately the most helpful thing I've had in this game. Hi, I'm covered in blood.
That means you're doing it right.
In 40K, yes. Oh. So yes, you can bully people with the doors in this game.
Hey, in Space Hulk, you can close the doors, then weld them shut behind your teammates.
Nobody likes our humans much, do they? I never understood why.
Each must serve according to their station.
Good smell.
A Crocs does not pull a governor's carriage. Ratlings I can deal with. Beastmen, though.
We going backwards?
That sounds hot. Well, there's bad guys, so I'm assuming we're going the right way.
Yeah.
And closed chairs. I'm pretty sure it is stolen stuff.
You requisitioned it for the Imperium of Man. The Astra Militarum.
Enemy spotted.
I figured it out.
You asked this, you did.
Can I help you? Lead by example or whatever.
I just permanently have a skull ping on my screen. I think someone's broken my game.
Yeah.
I blame someone else.
Get down here, Tay.
I'm popping heads.
That just sounds inappropriate.
Sounds like a ska thing.
Not enough sax.
Oh.
Yes, the saxophone, the classic Irish pan flute sound.
We have achieved much, but there is more still to do.
You don't often see the conveyor out of you. Stick with it until you hit the Overseer's office.
No puppies. Puppy bad. No.
York, York.
Are you trying to suggest that the dogs aren't good boys?
All dogs are good boys. Especially when the head goes pop.
Oh, the intestines is hanging out.
Of their head?
No, the part that holds the intestines.
It popped its head.
God, this game is fun.
You know what? I was skeptical, I'll be honest.
Games aren't meant to be fun.
Games are meant to give a challenge and be like Tarkov and give you actual combat PTSD.
They're meant
She
to give you a
says,
sense
having
of
played
accomplishment.
Tarkov.
Who plays games for fun? Games are supposed to be a job.
They're supposed to be profitable.
Oh god. I didn't realize we had Squeenix in here.
Oh no. Would you like to buy some horse armor?
No, and I don't want your NFTs either.
Oh, the good old days when horse armor was the most egregious of purchasable DLC.
Yeah.
Magnificent Emperor, this slaughter is my
It sounds big.
We'll find out in a second if it is or not.
It's coming
Instead, like a
behind us, I
true
think.
guardsman. Like, we're about to find out.
Yep, you did.
Oh, there he is. You found a friend.
Oh, friend.
Oh, I think they like you. Oh, they're dead now.
I don't think I like him.
Parasocial relationships be like. Oh, look, a grenade. For someone else.
I don't think I can use grenades.
I'm not even
I think I'm too
trying enough
dangerous
of mine.
to consider a grenade.
I can't wait till Tay finds out about grimoires. and what they do in this game.
Do they do the same as in Vermintide?
Yeah, if you gradually get more corrupted, and if you get downed, it's gone forever.
Yeah.
I like corruption.
I'd be surprised if they didn't include grimoires in this. I played way too much Vermintide.
Just chopping some wood.
Accidentally exploding things.
Ammo, quickly!
I need that!
Well, Taze found the I need ammo button. I mean, I've also
That's
got
the
an ammo
flavor.
drop thing if we desperately need it.
I thought I'm just using it as a desert ammo here icon. So.
The barrels are going to explode!
Oh, don't set me on fire. Fire hurts.
I didn't set you on fire.
Fire indeed hot.
The Emperor set you on fire.
No, the Emperor deigns that you can handle being set on fire. Or you can't, and it was just your time. We do not question the Emperor's will.
Still don't know what happens when my brain power gets to 100%, but I think it's bad.
You fall down and you need a bit of... you take a little nap.
You need a little hug.
I mean, using psychic powers in the 40k universe, you know, never goes wrong.
So I found a horde.
Well, you put it back where it came from.
I'm trying. Oh, horde! Oh, snip time! With the love that I have for melee combat, I should have been in the Death Corps.
Get your shovel out.
I would use a shovel, but like all the high level stuff I have right now is not a shovel. But as soon as I get a shovel,
high-level power shovel.
I mean, I can confirm at least I've seen chain swords, and they are awesome. Because apparently you can like power slide into enemies with the chain sword. If you just want to feel like a badass.
They're in cover! We'll have to get closer!
Actually, we have to jump down here.
Yes, we do.
Oh,
hi,
big
friends.
drop. I don't want to...
I'll wait for them to
we've got
come
two
to us,
left.
because they'll find the path up.
Nope.
Jump down. Jumping down bad.
I mean, we've all jumped down. You better jump down with us, otherwise you're gonna get stuck up there.
Yeah. Like, actually. Load the cryonic rods!
You're a cryonic rod.
Oh.
Load this cryonic rod. Pant
Yay,
grab.
it's time for the hacking minigame.
But only one pant.
So... Oh,
which ironically the Ogrins are really good at, because they can't get interrupted.
Yeah, actually.
Like the Ogrins are one of the best things to hack, people to hack with.
So, we gotta defend
Data interrogation rate acceptable.
this point and that
And
point.
that one.
Yeah, there's two!
Oh, floaty dude.
I'm not gonna lie, I wish my brain pop had a bit of an AoE. Just because I think using it on one thing is a bit of a waste of time.
Oh, there's
There is an
three of
AoE
them.
ability they get. Three of who the what now?
Where'd the puppy... Oh, now they're gonna do it. Okay. That's fine. I'm a guardsman. I have no patience for hacking. That's for tech priest.
If I can't do it with a gun, I'm not doing it.
Are you sure you're not a guardsman?
Or a brain pop.
Okay, there we go.
if I don't see brains, I'm not doing it.
That's the 40K way.
Stop showing off!
I do like the banter that these games have.
Oh yeah,
They
it's
could have
amazing.
easily made it just very military and like, there's stuff over here and whatnot.
Oh, look, it's your friend. Hey, at least he didn't throw you off the map. They like
Yeah,
to do
that happens. That happens a lot. Like a lot.
I mean, they have a lot to live up to from the banter of Vermintide.
Yeah.
Forgive me.
I do like if you are the same class, you complement each other, but anytime else, it's always a microaggression.
I mean, Vermintide's banter was nothing but microaggressions.
Yeah. At least they added some friendliness.
Oh, that's a bomb. Where's the bomber, dude?
Flamer. Where's the hacky one? Oh, it's this one over here.
Top.
Flamer found! Flamer dealt with.
Oh.
Well, could you start the hacking again if you get interrupted with hell?
Yeah. Which one is it? Over here.
I'm by it at the moment. I did the thing, I am the best at science. Did you do a psychic boom?
No, they got put in a net.
Oh.
They were captured for tagging of the bird.
Well, he's down in fire, so he can just sit there for a little bit.
That sounded like he said
Did he just say?
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
Hold on. I'm not getting distracted. You're getting distracted.
I'm
Use the
streaming.
healing.
I'm nothing but distracted.
Hey, do you want to use the healing?
I did. Oh.
You have the present, hold it.
Gotta hold it.
Yes, you gotta get stabbed by the servitor.
They sound so depressed when they run out of healing charges as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you heard, like, there's ones that are just like, please, help me, please.
Hold it. Up, hold it.
Once we are down, there is no turning back.
Why does that guy sound like Orlando Bloom, specifically from Lord of the Rings?
That's probably what his direction was. It's like, hey, can you sound like this? Can you sound like this specific thing?
What do your Eldar eyes see?
Just keep carking, fighting. Take some of them with you.
I love carking as a word because it sounds like something else that's much better. Oh no, you don't. 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 Hey, I chopped off their legs. Oh, just wait till we take you to one of the boss fight missions.
Can I pop its head?
No.
No, and I don't look forward to it.
Push button. Not all operatives are on board.
Can you say we can't abandon the Zin?
No, it doesn't. It actually doesn't let you.
Reckon they can fix it when we're done.
Worst game ever. 0 out of 10.
Who's fucking throwing bombs at us?
There's a bomber at the top floor.
It was a perfectly appropriate question. You could at least answer it.
Hey, that you chose the right voice. I'm sorry to say. It was a perfectly appropriate question. You could at least answer it.
I forgot to chuck the man's polka.
Give me a second. I'm murdering.
Throwing grenade!
Seems reasonable.
Protect me while I do the polka.
Protect me, I'm murdering.
Thank you for the hydration. That will also happen in a second. Wow, I was not hit once. That's impressive.
You know what? I'm proud of you. No matter what the others say. I accidentally pressed a button.
So we gotta grab the thingy. It's like the ammo one, but cold.
Cool. I appreciate that Zen completely ignored me. I've been trapped.
I didn't know you were trapped. I don't pay attention to my surroundings.
That's okay. I was talking about something else, so it's perfectly better.
Cryonic rod. So in the central, yeah, there's the cryonic rods, and then look for the big skulls.
I'm having trouble with the slightly smaller skulls that are still attached to the people's heads.
Jesus Christ. Oh, why is there so much fire?
Oh my god, you can hit them in the weak spot with your grenades.
Oh.
Yeah. I got a hit marker for it.
Oh.
Protect the rando!
I need to group up with you guys. I'm about to die.
Don't die. I'm not ready for that emotional distress.
I've been ready for it my whole life.
Clear the way! God damn it. Oh, that's a big chasey boy!
He got me.
Man, Tay, you really gotta give them a... You really gotta give them that guy a lesson about parasocial relationships.
Yeah, you know what? I probably should. I am, however, lazy.
Knife is somewhere.
Ow.
Oh, he's
protect
down
me,
there. That's what it
protect
is.
me, protect me, protect me! Cadia stands with me and my cryonic rod. They stole it from me.
Cadia stands with me crying.
Don't mention Cadia. I will cry.
I appreciate that it's just a dust cloud when you pick it from the character creation.
Same. It's like, oh no.
Oh god.
No. Oh, that's fire. Can't run. Oh, I'm in fire.
There's a sniper. There was a sniper.
Crap. Wow, out of everyone here, the random is the one that saved me.
I mean, this game actually has some pretty good teamwork. Because if you lose, you don't get anything. Well, you get like less than a quarter of the XP. Help me! Help me!
I'm again getting absolutely wrecked by a couple of rages.
Get up.
Thank you. Murder time. Just stand up. Yeah, we can leave.
Oh, I wasn't scared.
Medicaid station.
I have become medicated.
I have a feeling will return. I have dreamt it.
I have dreamt it. Get to the plane.
I'm not. I missed. I missed. Yeah.
I did too.
I was just backing up, popping heads.
Through the mud. Penance completed.
You know what? I might be the lowest level, but I only went down once. I'm calling that a victory.
That's usually, yeah. Oh, right. Hydrate. Internally moisten.
What?
What?
Hello?
Oh, right. I need to take my TD skis.
Is that the technical term?
Antihistamine.
Does that get rid of your sister?
No, CIS, the Confederacy of Independent Systems.
Oh.
It's the Grand Army of the Republic.
Oh no.
I love that there's someone on TikTok that's just going through how many war crimes the Grand Army of the Republic committed. And it's like in the first episode, it was already at like 9.
Body count's high tonight.
If you must, I suppose.
Mission terminal for my first assignment.
Alas,
Yes.
for the Imperium.
I'm gonna nip the balloon.
Good luck.
Unit operational.
I don't have enough money for anything because I'm...
Oh, so this is so very Deep Rock. I'm just going to compare stuff to Deep Rock. Oh, these missions have modifiers.
I love that there's a curio that I saw that is like specifically reduces damage from from Chaos Hounds.
Oh. Does that mean you get a chance to pet them now?
I don't know. Just chasing the bird around the ship.
I keep getting this flashing thing up that says, your trust level is growing, but it keeps disappearing.
Yeah, that's a glitch. Another?
Another?
Yeah, this is like gonna be my... Okay, just one more game. I say as I was literally up till 3 a.m. playing it.
Oh no.
Well, I've got nothing important to do tomorrow.
I'm supposed to be at work, but I don't want to be.
I'm
Sorry,
also
I
meant to be
can't come
working,
into
but-
work today. I was purging heresy.
Isn't it like Thanksgiving tomorrow or something as well?
Yes.
Or is that Friday?
I thought you have to give me thanks.
Well,
give me all of the thanks.
Me and Tay call it birds taking because bird.
And we take.
We
So I
take
bought
what
guns.
is
Do they
ours.
automatically equip, or do I have to find someone to equip them?
Press I.
Found it.
Yeah.
You know, classic. I'm gonna ask the question and then see if I can work it out. Because I'm a professional. Equip. Okay, I need trust 8 to get curios. Okay.
Yes. That's yeah.
Oh, Mash will be happy. I can unlock feet.
Not gonna. Nope. Would you like to try a tier 2?
Sure.
Okay. I hope
like
you notified your
self-loathing.
next of kin. We're not doing the cryonic rods again. Or for a bit. Oh, there's that's the only tier 2. When do they reset? They reset in 5 minutes.
I can run around in a circle for 5 minutes.
Global new alert conditions or new war zone conditions in 704 minutes or 704 hours.
Oh, good.
Wow.
So we'll be back next year.
I mean, those are the weekly ones, aren't they? So that's even more than a week. Oh,
I just picked a tier 1 one. Yeah.
Oh, I see. You don't trust me on a level 2.
The one we just did the tier 2. I don't want to do 2 of the same thing in a row.
I noticed that they've got a yellow bar next to the ones I've done. Why did I get a level up on one of them? I don't know what it means.
Gray
But what
says,
if?
feet you say. Yes, with an A in the middle.
Yeah, I'm gonna pretend that's what I said.
Metal Fab 36's primary smelter.
Wow, I'm just taking a freaking nap.
Your job's to get it working again. Seems a demonic infestation
Honestly,
has corrupted
mood.
the systems. Purge that
I just saw Ox
infestation and the situation
came online
will
for the
resolve.
game.
Oh my god. Ox smells.
We can't afford any mistakes today.
Shall I message the Ox? No.
You could poke the Ox in the end.
Poke the problem again.
Specifically if you call her Ox in the end. Oh, a random has a chainsword.
There's pure furnace blast.
Atmosphere scrubbers are functioning.
Message
This is a
sent.
temporary malaise.
War needs weapons, and those weapons come from here.
My beloved
from here.
manufactorum is special somehow.
Find the supply elevator and be quick about
Smashing my beloved.
your attention. You always do.
I've a bad feeling about this.
I was literally about to say that and that upsets me.
State?
Secretly, he actually voiced the Psycho.
Yeah, and I got paid £5.
Ah, the going rate for voice actors these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something's cracking the bed. Darking exits.
Kill shot looking for a skull.
So apparently I now have a feat that if we're like all grouped up, y'all might have like a 5% chance of just getting a grenade.
Oh, I can't use grenades.
I fell down the stairs.
Oh. I backpedaled into the zone.
I'm communicating with people and I'm dying because of it. Ah!
Yeah, just don't die.
Okay. I didn't die.
You've achieved the bare minimum.
Survival. Sin, keep stealing my kills.
What I do?
You could do with that. I fell. So good news, random stole it.
The med pack's one you drop down was AoE healing anyway.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there isn't like a self-healing pack like in Left 4 Dead and Vermintide. Oh, you found a dog.
Pop its head.
What does that do? Under fire! Reloading!
Present time.
Oh, cool. You can chop the limbs off dead people.
That's a quote.
Oh, it's only the arms and the head. That upsets me.
No, it's the legs as well.
I've been chopping legs off. You're right. I should try harder. I don't know why everyone's following me. I don't know where I'm going.
Oh, that sounds juicy.
Oh yeah, that's the horde trigger sound. So we're about to have several friends in a moment.
Good, I need more friends.
Got a present for you!
Where are they coming from?
Down.
Good one, soldier!
There's some coming in from behind now.
I'm booting back in.
Hey, you can chop the legs off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ain't that neat?
Well, I'm glad you took the time to find that out.
It's vital for the war effort.
You know what? I'm glad too.
I'm on my way. Processing
You may
inquisitorial.
want to jump down tag because there's a dog coming and we can't get back up there.
Yeah.
At least I think I heard a dog.
I didn't. I'm guessing that's a common occurrence of everyone's jumped out and one person didn't and they're stuck.
Yeah, it's a classic even from Left 4
Seems a
Dead.
demonic infestation has corrupted the systems. Purge that infestation and the situation will resolve.
Yeah, generally speaking, if there's a drop down point there, make sure everyone's down.
We can't afford any mistakes today.
Oxidon says possibly.
Talos, you got some friends.
I wasn't ready.
Gotcha.
I'm back. Oh.
You left?
I crashed.
Ah.
Oh, that person has an auto gun. I hate the auto gun in this game.
Oh god. I'm just hoping they've updated the bot's AI, because I know in Vermintide, if the bot takes over, they like to throw away like the grimoires and shit. It's really annoying.
Ah, yeah. Hey! Nope, nope, no frying my friends. Nope. No bombing my friends either. No las gunning my... Humbler of Heretics. Oh, what? I got a purity seal!
I'm proud of you.
Okay, I'm in trouble here.
Need to remember that dodging's a thing.
It is a very
right.
powerful thing, so yes.
Oh, that's right, it is a thing.
We do better to work
I think they've balanced it now. I know in Vermintide it was broken. People could solo missions if you knew how to dodge properly.
Team player. You lot are the problem.
We're communicating!
Like
Language.
I can't make head nor tail of our tech priest. Sets me on edge.
Her thoughts are like the grinding of gears. I wonder what would happen if I stopped them.
All the time she's someone else's problem, I'm good.
I love that I know for a fact that the tech priest can hear us.
Good thing tech priests don't
Eyes out for the
hold
smelter.
grudges.
usually. They might do.
I mean, she literally replied on comms to my character once, saying, "Would you care to repeat that?"
Nasty.
Thank you. Oh.
Ammo! Never enough! Come on, boy, soldier!
Big boy coming!
Oh, that's not what I expected.
Stink beast killed.
Reminds me of the stuff you get in Boba Tea.
Oh.
Oh no, don't ruin Boba Tea for me.
Med station, heal up.
You know what we need? Rainbow Q.
Good Sith for that place.
I am.
Yeah, I could make
And with
tteokbokki.
good reason.
Make tteokbokki for dinner tonight if I felt like not being lazy.
Then you could send me it.
That wouldn't. Tay, Tay, down here, Tay.
Oh, I was popping heads. Let me pop heads.
Hey, Braggett's dead! The
Oh, did we?
explode!
Regret.
What do you regret?
Nothing, don't worry about it, it's fine.
He's blowing up barrels.
It was an accident.
Yeah, he's going for the random.
Musclehead's dead!
What are you doing over there, Tay?
Charging.
Time to count the ammo and offer our prayers. Oh, dibs on counting
What are
the
you doing?
ammo. You handle the rest.
How you doing?
Why is my character so excited for counting ammo?
Everyone needs a hobby.
They're a sharpshooter. Every round is a blessing from the Emperor.
I heard something. Someone kill that trapper, please!
No.
Yeah, I did it. I remembered the dodge, and I dodged the trapper.
Another Medicaid station already.
Yeah. Oh right, flashlight. So these right here, these are like if you die, you spawn here when you get, so you can get. Yeah.
And I got it this time.
Ammo here, soldier!
Who dares?
New Voxcaster, who this?
I don't think Brendan's entirely focused on a coma.
An Inquisitor soiling their boots when there's grunts to do for them?
That's what Rennick and Zola are for. Grenade throw!
This is a lot more Death Guard than I'm used to seeing. It's usually just a bunch of scrungly boys.
Maybe the game just thought you needed a bit more death.
This way!
Oh, it's not an elevator.
If there's ever a if there is a Deathcore DLC, I'm gonna have to buy it at some point.
Caretaker.
Traxxas! Something! Take it out! For a stone.
Oxy exploder, dude. Oh, there's another one.
Oh yeah, oh, it's getting to the point where specials are getting spammed at us.
You missed Death Guard yet?
Possibly. You might want to get that checked.
Ammo! About cocking time! Who wants a grenade? Get down!
Throwing grenade!
Someone made some fire.
Oh, and it wasn't me this time.
That's right.
You need ammo, soldier? Ammo!
Soldier! Found you some ammo!
Oops. Ooh. Jump in the danger water.
Ooh, spicy water.
Ammo! The soldier's true
water.
friend! That is...
Med station, now!
Available.
Ammo crate!
Pieces of my fire floating.
Ah, you know, it's never concerning when it starts giving you this much shit.
Yeah.
I've done this
I'm
one
just
many
gonna drop
times. Just you wait. There's that good music.
Oh, there's friends behind me.
I love when you throw a grenade directly into an enemy's face and it actually like makes the squish sound.
We probably should catch up with the others.
Oh, big boy!
It's fine, he's got the random.
I see Jammy has also logged on to Darktide. It's almost like this game is super fun. Oh, it's that one. Okay. Follow me.
That's okay.
I'm going to hurt you.
I mean, well, at least his character's upfront about it.
But there's no surprises when it comes to me.
Wake the smelter's machine, spirit!
Bad times. Bad times. All the bad times.
I'm in really hiding.
Many bad times.
Oh shit.
Oh, don't try me, patience.
You're helping. Got a good feeling about this shot.
Go to my ping!
Enemy on all sides. Don't waste ammunition.
Where is your ping?
I don't need you to point out my
First,
skill.
you can't ask first than that.
This way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Place your things in the doorway!
Oh.
Big on from my tree.
The music is so good.
Yay, doors open. Let's go.
I want to leave.
Wow, Zaya just thinks I'm an NPC.
Too hot.
We did it.
Random just looked at me like I'd eaten a baby. Because I pushed the
I may have dropped a grenade.
Oh. You're a criminal.
You're a criminal. 16! Alright, let me ping Ox again. We might have a fourth.
Unless Orcs and Jammy are playing together.
Also true. Also, welcome on in, Zaya.
Zaya the poo-poo eater.
Hiya, Saya.
Zaya says you're a poo-poo eater.
Well,
they're not wrong.
Must you stand so
What?
close?
Oh no, you're that boss in Elden Ring.
Yes, that's a game I've heard of.
Elden Ring is a game that
My
exists.
service
It
is
is. I enjoy it.
complete.
It's good.
Render subroutine.
I'm gonna wait for a sec to see if Ox wants to hop in. I will keep the game on screen though. Ooh, right. Cosmetics. What? Where's the... I got a purity seal!
What?
I have access to a new curio slot as well.
Alright, show off.
Sounds like hacking to me. I don't even have access to clothes.
Need clothes.
Oh wait, no, the grenade thing is a feat, I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
Yes, it is. Okay, so I could do whatever I want with my feats. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
replenish one grenades every second. 60 seconds, even.
I'll do the plus 11% max health one.
FBI, open up!
Oh, hi, FBI! Get out!
What?
Did FBI open up sound alert?
Oh.
Yeah.
you know, streamer things.
Yeah, streamer things.
Newfangled streamer things.
We wouldn't understand. We've never streamed.
What's a stream?
I don't.
I don't even like water.
I think I'm allowed to stream.
Just not allowed to stream any of your own games.
Pretty much.
Thank you for the hydrate, Zaya.
Roblin.
Roblin, yes.
Or staff, that sounds dangerous and like something I probably shouldn't be allowed.
Get it.
Exactly. Oh, it's a gun weapon. Okay. I thought it was going to be a melee.
Keep me informed of their progress. We need them ready.
Why all the shiny things?
All the shinies.
I must admit, the one thing I miss about the hub world here, compared to Vermintide, is Vermintide's one has a massive jumping puzzle.
Oh.
So when you get bored, you can just spend it trying to jump up the tower.
Oh.
In the most inefficient way possible.
Naturally.
What is my story goal at the moment? I think it's like reach 18.
Let's just complete a mission.
Do you want to pick the mission, Tay, if you can?
Do you want to pick a mission? This one is level 2. And it's got big pointy lasers. I'll pick it now. Whoopie doopie doo.
Accept.
Oh, big stretch.
Our rando just looks like a dude, just a guy.
The most generic man ever.
The primary smelters offline and production's crawling.
He looks like...
He looks like Homelander.
No, he looks like...
We need those production lines back in action.
a butler in a game, and I can't think of what game it is. It'll come to me just out of nowhere. I'll scream something.
No, the psyker thought of something. Ooh,
We'll
that
never
was
see you
a...
anymore. Come out the door. It's like you've become a Thai.
What?
I don't know where I'm going. I found stairs.
I don't
know them.
Pure furnace blast.
These stairs go up.
Atmosphere scrubbers are functioning.
Okay, it's a Gex said, I never see you anymore. Come out the door. It's like you've become a Tay.
And it feeds on bodies and weapons.
What do you
Weapons
mean?
in places like this.
Has to be something different about this manufactorum.
There's a supply elevator close by that will get you to the smelter complex.
Well,
If you're worried
Tay hasn't played the level with the Ascender.
No.
I'm intrigued.
It's the
It's
most,
less
it's a
cool than
marvel
you
of
think.
technology.
Is it a lift?
Yes.
Oh, even better than a lift. I'm gonna hype it up so much that he'll be so disappointed when we finally get to it.
I'm already disappointed.
Mission
Oh, but
successful.
you can't. I mean, I don't think that's going to prepare you for how disappointing the Ascender truly is.
Now I have AoE.
It also begs the question, like, what if you're at the top side? Do you then just call it a descender?
Entry point is
No, you don't.
Or is that the, or
simple.
those stairs, like, you know, these are the designated upstairs, you can only go up them.
I mean, it's 40k, so that is believable.
Well, playing Vermintide, me and my friends did decide that in Dwarven culture, they do have designated upstairs and downstairs, and it is a social faux pas to use them incorrectly. Ow.
Back from that barrel!
My brain exploded.
Get up.
This
Take
is
a
literally
brain
just
nap
Vermintide
after
in
the
space.
mission.
Look, my staff uses my brain power. So, of course, I'm going to overuse it.
As you do.
That's more fun.
I mean, at least they seem to have balanced it a bit better. Like, in Vermintide, anytime there was someone playing Sienna, you just expect them to be on the floor every 30 seconds. Oh, there he is. Oh, hello, good dude.
No more trouble from that!
Oh, it's dead. Okay.
I mean, you can keep shooting it if you want.
Hey, your character is making exhausted streamer noises.
Oi! I'm just warming up. That's
Those are not exhausted streamer noises.
Well, can't believe I'm being called out like this.
Found a switch!
Push button.
This place is wall to wall during shift change. As it is, you can reach the elevator in minutes.
Ah, Gunner! Have a present.
Enemy has taken cover!
Blinky lights go!
It's showing off. Engaging focus fire.
No, he fell off the gun.
Let's go!
Alright, Mario.
Let's go! Oh wow, look at that, I have a better voice actor than Chris Pratt.
Did you work on that voice for months?
No.
I'm dead.
Be less explodey, please.
I'll try.
You've got one more attempt, let me put it that way.
You do.
Oh, no.
That's what the corruption does,
Oh,
yeah.
is that what that is?
Yeah.
I think I found a grenade.
Then we have to
capture max
rescue
health
you.
and... He'll get
Maybe
better.
I picked a bad weapon.
Medicaid station.
No, that's half the fun of this one. I think we're at a healing station here then, anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Will that fix me?
I'm just gonna bring one.
Yeah.
Oh, nope.
Nice. Did it.
Still
Oh, I
open.
should.
Yeah, healing
I'm like, oh.
Now I can use my dangerous death weapon again.
You asked for this, you did.
The only way is through!
That's the supply elevator. Looks like you'll have to call it up.
Throwing grenade! Barrel detonation! Elevators inbound! Maintain position! Kill enough of them and we'll win!
Come here. Yeah, yeah, you. It's like the TikTok cut. Yeah.
Shut them down!
Assault group coming in!
You're not dead, so get moving!
This time I wasn't my head. I didn't blow my head up this time.
You got your head bashed instead of exploded.
Well, hello.
Big boy.
I dodged him. Someone else didn't. The world's slowest descender.
Nah, I've been to a convention when the elevator is about to break.
Damn it! I am not good at level 2.
I gotcha.
Just while they're still shooting his corpse, I'm just trying to.
Let's go!
I'll be bait, don't worry.
Woo, I'm out.
I don't think Gren was entirely focused on Atoma. An Inquisitor soiling their boots when there's work to do for them.
Rannick and Zola seem to have things in hand here. This way!
What? You pinged the where?
The weak. I remain strong.
I do hope you're not talking about me.
Will it really be so simple to get this manufactorum working again?
Short-term disruption nullifies our goals, while leaving the structure intact for further subversion.
That mustn't happen.
You forget power sliding's a thing. It's really awkward to do on my keyboard.
Same. Oh! It's very fun to do with a chainsword, though. Or so I've seen.
Begone from my dream!
Eyes out for the smelter!
Power sliding to victory! Apex Legends!
Throwing grenade!
Why can I sometimes see people's hearts?
I
think
haven't
that's
figured
just
that out.
you realize are specifically low on health, I think.
Big boy. Wait. Now big boy.
One dead. It's a start. Good progress. Keep moving through the superstructure.
Whip.
You find a power station in the med station here.
They do make a lot of noise when they die.
Or not enough.
Hello? There we go. On my way.
Oh yes, if you come back to the med station, the randos found the...
No, I did.
Yeah,
I found it.
It
was me! It was me!
Oh, it's a doggy! Oh, he's going for the rando.
Oh, I really don't like this.
Irrelevant!
Buster! See it! We got it! We got it!
Well, I'm gonna use the med station just because I can.
You know what? That's fair.
Ammo!
Ooh. It's mine now.
Plus,
Loyalists, take up position!
Grenade out!
oh, there's a big guy.
Reaper!
definitely need a better sword. My one does no damage.
Yeah, the swords just don't do a lot of damage in general. I don't like them.
Is she?
They're fast, but
they're good for AO. They're good for crowds.
yeah. Just get yourself an axe like me.
Right.
Apparently, there's a warhammer though.
Yeah, there's a thunder hammer. I think only the priest can get it though.
I shot that trapper in the face, and he very exploded.
Heal up now.
Medicaid station. Big on from my tree.
That was just reflex.
I mean, I don't think he really deserved a whole grenade to himself, but...
The Emperor wills it. This is
Sorry,
Warhammer
Phil,
speak
coming.
where I do what I want.
Big on from my tree.
Oh, hello, dog.
Noted. So dog can get back up there, but we can't.
Yep.
Yes.
Sever the head, the body dies.
That's ominous.
I'd rather you stabbed me in the face than the back. I'm watching.
As long as you watch us, hey, can't see what's behind you.
Ammo time, soldier.
Oh, that's
That's a horde? And they're coming from where we just came from.
Compliments only mean something from professionals.
That wasn't much for horde.
yeah, they vary. And there's another one.
That's doggo.
No, beloved, it's not a good dog.
Get him in the elevator.
Fine. I wanted the dog.
Oh, he almost got in the elevator. I wanted the dog in it. There he is. Look at him. He's so happy. Jumping
Just
around.
frolicking around. No!
He's living his best life.
Was past tense.
Wow.
Changed the dog's pronouns to was, were.
Wow.
Headhunting.
Oh, it's dead.
There's a big guy coming.
No!
Did you find him?
I was hoping to pop him.
He freezes.
Without me, you'll be dead in minutes.
Oh god, I just got a sniper shot.
Rippy dippy. Oh no, we're good. Oh, this might not end great.
I did just duck a sniper shot while picking you up, so that was kind of funny.
Humans much, do they? I never understood why.
If they can fight and die, we'll find
Where's
a use
Tay?
for them.
There's Tay.
He's around.
That was unnecessary.
I'm American.
I mean, he didn't.
They didn't even die.
Or sound so loud.
It's no dream.
That barrel's grenade resistant. You should know that.
Yeah.
ammo!
Actually, it's a manufactorum. Because Warhammer.
Everything's got to have fancy words.
Everything has to be Catholic.
That sound a little bit Latin.
Yep.
Though I refuse to call it the Astra Militarum, it's always going to be Imperial Guard.
I mean, my freaking hollow sight is a heckin' Gothic arch, so.
You mean the Hollowest Visionarium?
Don't tell the people who make Warhammer.
Take the grenade!
Flying
Grenade!
I mean, the fact that I'm just a regular guardsman and I have a sight,
Not a good sign.
that is a lot.
Well,
That's
having
like
a
Christmas
regular
come early
guardsman
here.
haven't died yet.
It's like, am I a guard captain? What did I do? What did I do to warrant being given optics?
I mean, the fact you even got a lasgun in the first place.
Yeah.
Don't spoil that rapid vision. You guys might want to come to where the objective is.
Well, it was over here last time. I don't think the game would be smart.
We've dealt with that one, we'll come to you. Oh, that's a grenade.
Grenade? Okay.
Well, no problem with those bad grenades, right?
The bug is you throw the fire bombs are deadly accurate with that thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's over there.
That's the rock box all over again.
Oh, it's over here.
Oh, dog somewhere. Our friend is probably gonna find the dog.
I'm pretty sure Tay just, like, head exploded the puppy.
No?
No, I think there's something around here.
Running around.
Oh, he's still around somewhere.
Found it!
Oh, you're stuck there. Alright. Oh, I thought that was his corpse coming at me.
Oh, shit.
He's dead now.
Oh. Now I feel bad.
Oh, there's a sniper. There's multiple snipers. There's two snipers. Oh, this is bad. I'm fleeing.
We got some collective.
Damn it!
Keep fighting.
Wait, what? Oh.
Hello? Help me, please. I'm being struck several times.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
He was trying to go
got...
for a swim in the...
Oh, I'm confused.
Well, the other one was trying to go for a swim in the lava.
They were just hanging around.
Up! Don't
like that.
You know what? They really need some handrails around here. 41st millennium and no health and safety?
Of course not. It's one of
So,
the last pieces of technology.
Zaya, the way grenades work is if that part that I was holding with my hand, the spoon, if I don't let that fly, the grenade doesn't actually start, like, the fuse. And you could actually, like, physically put the pin back in and everything. All that does is hold the spoon in place.
Spoon.
Yeah, it's called the spoon.
Get healed, get fighting.
Ah, there's so many bad guys. They were all eating me. With sticks and pipes.
They were eating you with sticks and pipes.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds horrific. Alright, it's this.
I thought you were just gonna Darude then.
Soldier! Grab this healing!
Come on.
Got a present for you!
You know, I'm amused that they justified this world not just being exterminatus by calling it a hive world.
I mean, they've exterminated less for more for less.
Exactly, that's I'm like, they would just like nuke this and call it done.
I'm pretty sure one of the Eisenhorn books, they called down an exterminatus because he thinks he saw a gene stealer cultist somewhere and just like, yep, that's enough, nuke planet, don't care.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Seems
Gotta love the.
excessive.
Oh, it's we're also part of the Inquisitorius, so.
Oh no, the presence of a gene stealer caught on the planet basically means it's fucking doomed already.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the card, but with the new Magic set, 40k, the Tyranid themed one, and the flavor text on it makes me laugh. It's just the cultists welcome the arrival of the Tyranids as gods, and they celebrated briefly.
Got one more kill as the door shut.
Now we get to go home.
Oh, speaking of going home, I might have to call it there.
I'm probably gonna call it as well. I was honestly not expecting this stream today.
It's the best day.
And now I get to swear to millions of people that I don't even know.
Woo! Yeah. I'm gonna look for somebody to raid. Let's see. Dweeb Stevie.
Oh, they've done an Elden Ring board game.
Do y'all have any suggestions? Oh, Diva Panda.
Varpendar.
The Varpenda.
I've got a cutscene. What's going on here?
Oh, I see. Someone's doing story stuff.
Alright, everybody, say hi to Diva Panda for me. It's been actual ages. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. That was fun.